All right, so welcome everyone. It's good to see all of you. Today's topic is, again, since this whole week it's all about death and dying. So today it's about physical, mental, and spiritual death. That's the topic of today. So these are kind of the three types of death that you could contemplate, you could think about. And thinking about death fulfills a whole lot of functions, mostly positive functions. It's not always very comfortable, it's not always something that we intuitively tend to do, but surely has a whole lot of benefits. For example, if you don't know that a resource or time is something that's limited, you usually tend to waste it, right? We usually tend to be unaware that it's there actually. Like, let's say if you're in a relationship, okay? And your wife is nagging you day in and day out. Or your husband is nagging you day in and day out. Usually, we become very unappreciative of this. We don't like it. We want to get out of it. We start complaining and so forth. And if you contemplate death of your wife or your husband, things change again. What if you came home this evening and you would receive the news of your husband or your loved one being dead? What would go through your mind? It's a very heavy topic. It's something that I frequently contemplate. I think it's a very, very important thing. And why? Because it really makes me appreciate what I do have. Otherwise, I would get lost in complaining. Very easy. It's very easy. Oh, this is bad about my life, and that is bad about my life. Death has the effect to make you go, wow, I'm alive. And it even takes a while for most people to allow that to sink in. The fact that you're alive doesn't seem like anything special at all, right? Until your life is threatened. Then suddenly it becomes something special. It's a limited resource. And the limitation makes it special. Only if we lose something very often we notice what we have lost. But as we have it, we don't even know it's there. Very often. Like your mattress, for example. You don't even know what you're having, how nice it is to have a mattress. If I came to your room tonight and took it away, suddenly you would notice, wow, I had a mattress. And it was really nice. The same for our relationship. Well, I had a wife and it was very nice. Now I don't have her anymore. I wish I would have. And usually then that kind of thought comes up. I wish I would have been more thankful, more appreciative. But now it's too late, it's gone. And death has that effect. Yes, it is maybe at first always a kind of a bit of a depressing thought. Oh, I'm going to die, or I might die tonight, I might die today. But it puts things into perspective. Very strongly, swiftly, with great force. And if we forget that we will die very soon, we tend to waste our time, as I just said. We do all kinds of things that don't really mean anything. Hours and hours every day, doing things that don't really mean anything. Spending time with whatever, just distracting ourselves from ourselves. Getting lost in this activity and that activity, chasing this activity and that activity, trying to somehow get somewhere until it's too late, and then you figure out, wow, I'm probably not getting anywhere. And then there's this invention of heaven and hell, and at least you might get somewhere after death, so you still can look forward to something. We still haven't found life. We're still looking for it, even after death. Life after death. Now that's the thing that's interesting. Life is right here, right now. And if we don't know that it's a limited resource, we forget that very fast. And we prioritize consumption and production instead. Trying to create something, trying to get somewhere. Why? We all do it for the same reason, all of us. No one excluded in this room. We all want to be happy. And the funny thing is, happiness would be right here, right now, inside of you, so close. But that's the clever thing, right? That's the devil's game. It's so close you don't see it. The hardest thing you see, or the hardest thing to see, is the self. And why do we forget ourselves? Well, for the sake of things. Things to do, things to have, consumption and production. Things to become, things to own. And amongst those things that we own, we think we own a body, right? We say it's my body. How does my body look today? Does it look good? Does it look bad? We have mirrors, we look into the mirror, checking how the body looks like. We train and trim our body, make it look handsome. And this body is very precious to us. Just a tiny mosquito already is enough to completely rob you of your peace of mind. It's a tiny mosquito. Like tiny things, like someone looking at you in a little bit of a wrong way, is already disturbing our peace of mind. It's very fragile, our peace of mind. It can be easily disturbed. And the prospect of losing that which is so dear to us, we're looking after it day and night, taking care of it day and night. The body is absolutely scary. I need to lose my body. I want to ask a question. What do you think? What if this wasn't really your body? What if it was just a body? And this isn't so far-fetched. What does your body consist of? Any idea? What is your body made of? Cells, yes. What are cells made of? Water, energy, atoms. Matter, yeah. So let's break that down a little bit. Your body, let's say it's composed of atoms, right? So you have a lot of atoms there. Which atom is yours? On the level of atoms, it doesn't make sense to own it, right? But that's what your body consists of. Even on the level of cells, it doesn't make any sense to own it. Because you're actually having no control over any of the functions of your body. The breath, the flow of blood, the pumping of your heart, the growth of your hair, growing older, digestion, none of it is anything we would do actively. It just happens. That's the miracle of life. Your body just does what bodies do. And it does that for a while. And you have no say in it. When your body decides, oh, that's it, then that's that. And you can complain about it as much as you like. Well, that's it. And we're threatened by it because we want to be in control. One of the major domains of ego is control. The illusion of being in control. The illusion of owning this. It's mine. But if you break it apart piece by piece, you will quickly notice, like, what is it that's really mine in there? It's natural elements. I think it takes about 7 years for an entire body to completely be replaced. Every single cell in it completely replaced in 7 years, and none of it done by you. You're not busy replacing cells right now, right? Like, okay, let me just figure that out. That one goes here, and that one over there. You're not busy growing hair right now either, right? It's not an effort. Running the body, it's not something you run. You don't do it. Fortunately. If your body was actually handed over to you at some point, I wouldn't know what to do with it. I had no clue how to run all these billions of processes at once. Way too complex. This is an eye alone, the brain alone. So incredibly complex. How could I ever assume that it's mine? What a deceit. It's my thing. I haven't even made it. My parents made it. And they haven't even really consciously probably made it. Let's make that precise body. They haven't programmed it consciously. These things happen, like digestion and everything else in nature. Rain, clouds, the sky does its thing, the stars do their thing. And nobody does it. Nobody owns it. And everything that is subject to physicality, to matter, to energy, it is in a constant process of change. That means impermanence, that means death. Matter is continuously born and it disintegrates. Then it is reborn in another form, then it disintegrates. Our planet, our universe, our galaxy, solar system, our bodies, this is the proof. All we need to do is look. There's a continuous change. The body grows older, doesn't it? Even though maybe we don't like it, but it still does it. The body gets ill. You don't want to get ill, but it still happens to us. If we could choose, nobody would choose illness, yet people do get ill. We all do. There's nobody in this room, nobody in this village, nobody in this entire world that does not know illness. That does not know death. We all do. This is where we're all the same. We're all having bodies, seemingly. This is my bodies. But in fact, they're just natural elements. And it helps to contemplate the death of our body, this disintegration of our body. In many religious systems, that the purpose of that is to kind of wake us up to the need to practice. You have a limited time to do good with this body, to use this vehicle in the best possible way. How could you use your body in the best possible way? Any ideas?
Enjoy it.
Enjoy it, another idea?
Helping others.
Yeah. If we use the body only for ourselves, it doesn't really fulfill a higher purpose. But if the body becomes a vehicle for the benefit of others and ourselves, of course, at the same time, you cannot benefit others and not benefit yourself at the same time. Impossible. Every single time you benefit someone else, you also benefit yourself. Similar thing is true with harm. If you're harming someone else, you always harm yourself. It's impossible not to have that. That's a universal law. Now, if we use our body well, then we need to have something that motivates us. And usually, for many people, this is death. Having to face terminal illness, it radically changes people's minds. It's a very common phenomenon. Some they become very bitter, just angry at the fact that they have to leave. That's the most common one. People just get angry. That's it. All for nothing. All my work, all the things I've raised and done for nothing. And then some people, they go through this first grievance and then encounter something more deep. What can I do with my remaining time? And they suddenly become very translucent, soft, kind, and they open up their their hearts, they become totally vulnerable. They're humbled to a degree that they reveal their beauty naturally. Because all the many layers of ego are just destroyed. In the face of death, what is there for me to uphold? Who am I? The great Tobi, who is the great meditation teacher? It doesn't make any sense in the face of death. That's why I consider a very important thing also before each teaching, for example, to consider for myself, let this be the last thing I do. So I don't get trapped in some egoic whatever. I hope you all like what I'm saying. Stuff like that. Who, am I not wise? Yeah. It's pointless. This is the last thing I do. What use is that? Other things become more useful. So I encourage that. Let it be the last thing you do. Contemplate that. Today I go to bed. It's the last time I do that. Wow, suddenly going to bed becomes something you become aware of. Well, I'm pulling the blanket over my body. The last time I do that. I say goodnight to my wife. The last time I do that. Guess what happens with the quality of that goodnight kiss? You know what happens. This might be the last time I do that. And I guarantee you, one day will be the last time. And that day is not far at all. Wake up in the morning, maybe you're lucky. You wake up tomorrow morning. You see the sunrise. Last time you see the sunrise. Will you not appreciate it? And furthermore, will you not appreciate your opportunity to make something out of this day? Instead of hanging out as a victim, feeling like kind of life is so dreadful, so many things are happening to me, poor me. Will you not decide something more empowering? If this was your last day, how would you spend it? These are such important questions. And so contemplating the loss of that which is most dear to us, most close to us, the thing we take care of most, our own body, is vital in every spiritual discipline. It reveals that we don't really own this body. That I call physical death. The second one is mental death. Just like your body, the mind also changes. The mind changes much faster. If you look at the mind, it changes every second. Different thoughts, different words, different opinions, the attention here, there. The mind is highly unstable. The body is actually too, but it's not that visible. You're in that form for a little while. Even though your atoms are buzzing around and your cells are moving and everything is moving in your body, it's not really that visible. But in the mind, it's very visible. One moment you're angry, next moment, sorry, it was just a misunderstanding, and friends again. One moment you're terrified, the next you find out, oh, where's my purse? The next moment you see the purse, relaxed. The mind can change so fast. And in babies, very often that's very visible. If you see, sometimes they cry and then you do some funny noise and they laugh. Just out of the crying, the tears still on their cheeks, laughing. Unbelievable presence. So flexible. As adults, we often lose that flexibility. We get stuck. How dare you say that? Why? And then we contemplate over and over, hurting ourselves. We hurt no one but ourselves with that. And so it's good to contemplate mental death. What that means is the changingness of our mind, that continuously, thought after thought, emotion after emotion, opinion after opinion, view after view, arising and passing, arising and passing. Get used to it. So quickly you will go, oh, anger, that shall pass. And you relax. You're not buying into it, because anyway, it will not last. So you relax instead. You're not getting caught up with anything. What if happiness comes? Nice. But you're not getting stuck. You're not sad when it goes away. You're still cool. Happiness comes, happiness goes. Unhappiness comes, unhappiness goes. That's just what the mind does. Because that's what it has learned to do. Right? Mental death. That will die. Whatever you're experiencing, fear, are you experiencing fear? Oh my God, I hope my business will make it. Experience that? That fear will die. Guaranteed. Anxiety, worries, depression, whatever, it will die. Sometimes, very common with depressed people, they think that they are always depressed. I have been depressed since 3 years, for example, they say. Then sometimes I would tell a joke and then they laugh. And at that moment I would like to point out, as you were laughing, where did your depression go? And it's almost like they remember it again. After they were laughing, oh yeah, I was depressed. And then they go back into their habit. And for some people the habit is very strong. The habit of continuously dwelling in a negative mental state. Has physical effects, and you can get yourself stuck so badly in it, physically and mentally, that yeah, maybe you need medication or you need serious help to get out of it again, or maybe there is no help. Yes. But we tend to get stuck in little things in our mind and then reify them constantly, making them stronger and stronger again and again. In a way we can say we are practicing, we're cultivating certain mental states. And we all do that. We call that character or personality. Your summary of cultivated mental states, that's your character. Automated. They're just running by themselves. You're so good at that, it just runs in the background. You don't even need to care anymore. It just runs. So if someone looks at you the wrong way, poof, there your anger just operates. It just works. And then it dies again. Contemplate that every time, again and again, see that this mental state is subject to death. It's already decaying right in front of my eyes. There it's gone. Let's see what next. Contemplating mental impermanence. And finally, spiritual death. Well, spiritual death is the death of this illusionary self. The idea that here is a me and there is a universe. As if you were not a part of it. As if you were somehow, maybe some people say, I'm a part of the universe. Still, as if you were a part. As if there was a part. Like a shard or something. This idea that there is this me. A famous example is the forest, right? If you think of a forest, you have many trees in the forest, you see that beautiful forest on the hill. And from a distance you look at it and say, look at that beautiful forest. And your friend says, wow, yes, beautiful. It's a nice forest. And then you go closer in the search of the forest. You go closer and closer and you enter the forest looking for the forest. Will you find it? Will you find a thing that's called forest? What do you think? Is there any such thing as a forest? A truly existent, solid, substantial forest? There it is. Is it in the bark of the trees somewhere? Take it apart, look for it. Is it in the atoms somewhere? In the sand, in the leaves, in the sky above, earth below? Where is it? Really, where is it really? If you're looking for it, you don't find it. The same is true for Tobi. Now, I normally just think that, yes, I'm Tobi. Hi. How are you doing? Who are you? And then you say your thing, right? I'm Steve. And then we don't question it any further. We think that that's what I am. I'm Tobi. Now, if I would actually truly go on the search of Tobi, would I find it? Where is it? And what is it? What is this denomination pointing to? Tobi. These 4 letters, they must be pointing to something, right? What exactly are they pointing to? And do you take that search far enough? Or do you give up fast? Okay, Tobi, let's have a look. It's probably not in the body, it's probably not in the mind. I'm hungry. Okay, let's go and have a lunch. Let's have a dinner. And it's gone. Do you take it far enough? Do you stick to it? Are you really curious? Do you really want to know, who am I? That leads to spiritual death, because I can guarantee you will find nothing. The only thing you will find are universal elements, atoms, particles, energy, mass, space. But you cannot find yourself as an object, as a thing, because you're looking from it. You're looking out of it, at the universe. And if you want to take it a bit deeper, it is that very thing that the universe is appearing in, namely consciousness, awareness. And we usually don't take it that deep. And this by far exceeds the scope of this short session. But still, this is what's pointing to spiritual death. If you truly look for yourself, you will find nothing. Absolutely nothing. And if that has been truly confirmed, there's great relief, because nobody there to suffer. Who would be there to suffer? Who would suffer this life? Who would suffer this body? Who would suffer those thoughts? Who would suffer those emotions? Who would suffer those other people? If there was no truly existing you. So this is just how deep good practice can take you. Now, how deep you want to go, that's then again up to you. Do you want to relax a bit? Then contemplate death. Think about it a lot. Because otherwise, other things will take priority over happiness. You believe me or not? Such as the future, it will look as if it's more important than happiness. Because happiness is in the future, right? It's in the next moment. It's somewhere else, and I need to go get it, right? That's how it looks like, that's how it feels like. But is that really the truth? Is happiness really something you need to get? Does happiness, is that existing in distance to you? How many meters then? How many kilometers until you reach it? How many more minutes until you get it? And then if you get it, do you really have it? Or does it leave you again? Are you not interested in something more solid? Something more lasting? Something you can actually rely on? Other than these fleeting things that come and go. They're nice. But there's more to life. And we usually don't go search it if we don't contemplate death. Most people turn to the spiritual path as a result of having lost a loved one, having been confronted with an illness. They're shocked. They're slapped awake. Oh, what I have is limited. Why am I here? Suddenly they're no more fun for their old friends. Because they have different questions now. What are we doing here? Why are we on this planet? Why do we have these bodies? Why am I here? What's the point of this? Why do I cross my legs? Why meditate? If you contemplate death properly, your meditation gains weight. It's not just some sort of thing like a fancy fashion kind of thing, like, okay, let's do some meditation, looks cool, let's try. But it becomes like something that you really want to do. I really want to get to know myself before it's too late. I want to make peace with myself before it's too late. I want to use my lifetime well before it's too late. What does that entail? What does that mean, using my lifetime well? If this was your last day, invite this reflection right now. If this was your last day, what would you remember of your life as the most beautiful moments? What would count? And I almost certainly can guarantee you it has to do with kindness. It has to do with warmth, human connection, family, appreciation, gratitude. I'm almost certain it has not to do with six-packs, money, fame, businesses. Entertainment, the many hours of it, that will be absolutely having no value in these reflections. So death, reflecting on death, has this power to really show you this is what's meaningful, what's deep, what's profound. This is what will lead you towards fulfillment. All the other stuff is entertainment, and I'm not saying it's bad. I love entertainment. I do entertainment. Yeah, otherwise I would go crazy. If it's just only meditation and spirituality, I couldn't handle it. I need a Netflix session every now and then, a good evening, with friends, having a good time together. But there is something deeper, and really, again and again, death calls me back to that. The question, what am I doing right now? What am I doing today? Is that really leading somewhere that I feel fulfilled with or feel good about? So encourage that reflection often, not forced, but because you have interest in your own life. Not because you think, okay, now I'm spiritual, now let's reflect on death. But because you're interested in yourself, in your life, in the human condition. Isn't it something amazing, something absolutely extraordinary and unique to be here in this body, in this shape, meeting these kind of people, reflecting in that way, using your brain, your mind, your eyes, your ears in that way? Isn't it weird? Doesn't it invite introspection? Doesn't it invite contemplation and the deeper aspects of life? Well, anyways, I hope that this session kind of invited these qualities in some way. Are there any questions?